Welcome back, everybody. Orange Track Outlaws. Today we are going to restore and probably change it up just a little bit. This old Redline Mustang Stalker. As you can see, this thing looks like it's had a pretty good life. It looks like it started out yellow and somebody painted something nasty on it, and it's been played with, and his wheels are beat up, and looks like this guy's had a rough life. So what we're going to do is try to bring her back to life. However, I think I'm going to change the paint just a little bit. I think I'm going to keep the same kind of decals, but instead of that nasty yellow, I'm going to change that color just a little bit. So get a look at our Project Mustang Stalker wheeling in here, and very cool casting here. Look, that said 1974 Mustang Stalker. I really like this thing. It's got a really sweet look to it. I think we can bring this baby right back to life and make it look like she's brand new. Ought to be a fun little build here. So since this is an old Redline, you do have to use the center punch to get started drilling out the posts. Them older ones, they mushroom out pretty good instead of the newer style where they kind of have them mushroomed in. And that's where the center punch comes in. Get you started there, and you can get a little pilot hole going. Then you can change bits, get the bigger one there, and then you can zip off the heads of those posts there fairly easy. Make sure you get enough of it. If you do, it should fall right out. If you pop a little screwdriver in the fender well or something, and you can finesse it a little bit, it should pop right out. So get this bad boy apart here. See what we got to work with, and like it does, this thing looks nasty. It's been played with. It's been played with hard. The chassis oxidized like crazy. It's gonna need to go in the sandblaster. We'll bring her back to life though. It'll look good. This interior, wow, look at it. That the interior probably clean up with some soap and water. That windshield, that's gonna need some soap and water, and that's probably gonna need a good sanding. Get that guy clean. So our body here, I'm not sure, look like somebody's put maybe magic marker over it or something, but that'll all come off in the sandblaster and we can pretty much start over. So here is a look at our chassis fresh out of the blaster. We're going to put this thing in the wire wheel box. We're going to get all that nasty stuff there cleaned up from the sandblast box. We'll get this cleaned up, see what it looks like. We'll hit this thing with some polish and get her looking brand new, and then we'll put some fresh Redline wheels on there and make her look good. So base looks pretty good already, just with a little wire brush and some sandblast. Now we're going to do our body here. Sandblast worked out real well. It didn't take much to get all that old paint off there, which is real nice. Doesn't have to be in that box too long. So same thing here, wire wheel. We'll get her cleaned up. Since this is not going to be Spectra Flame, we're not going to need to do a whole lot of polish here, but we'll clean it up with some triple aught steel wool and some soap and water, and we'll go from there. Should be pretty good. So here's a look at it fresh out of the wire wheel box. It looks pretty good here. We did have to touch up some spots. Had to fill in some spots there, so we primed it, sanded a little bit, filled it in with a little body filler, some rough spots that didn't look too good. So now we're gonna hit it here with a little Rust-Oleum flat black primer. Like this product here, it goes on real smooth, and it doesn't blotch up or anything. So I've had good luck with this primer. So probably hit this thing one good time, probably a nice light touch up, and then we'll be able to move into paint. So what we're going to do here is we're going to paint this guy with some opaque white. We're going to mix it with a little 40-30 for adhesion and flow, and some 40-12 to reduce. And we're just going to try and get this thing basically as white as we can. We're going to go with basically a white body instead of that yellow body. So I thought the white body Mustang with the red and the blue tampos looked pretty cool. So that's what we're going to go with. So got the first coat on there. We're going to continue on with the second coat here and try to get some better coverage here and cover up all that black, and let's try to get ourselves a nice white look to it here. So we're just going to keep on going, keep painting this thing away here, and hopefully our color will start filling out. So it's dried up, looking real good. Now we're going to add a little pearl white just to make it pop just a little bit more. Nothing too crazy. I'm pretty sure the original wasn't pearl, but got to have a little bit of sparkle on there. You know, why not? So we're going to hit this with a little bit of pearl white and try to get this car looking just that much better than when it was brand new. So nice easy coat here, just get some quick coverage, just get it nice and wet and try to get just a little bit of that sparkle going in there. Should look pretty good. I'm going to go with a second coat just to make sure I got everything covered. Like I said, I don't want to put a ton of this pearl white on there. I still want the nice bright white, and I think after we get some clear coat on there, it'll bring that white out a little bit. It'll bring some of that pearl out, and I think it'll look pretty cool. So everything's looking good here. You can kind of see a little bit of that sparkle going. So since this was water-based paints, we did hit it with a coat of clear and let that dry before we go ahead and put our tampos on here. Pretty easy here. Cut these guys down to size and soak them in a little warm water. Usually, 10 to 20 seconds at the most. Really, it doesn't take a whole heck of a lot to do this. So get it in place there. If it's nice and wet, it should be able to get it, move it around fairly easy and put it in place what you're trying to do. So I like to use a Q-tip. I use one side somewhat damp, and the other side's kind of like the drying side. When I get it where I want it to be, try to squeegee that water out and try to blot all that water off there, and that really helps to get that thing to set right. So this is a little bit of a time-consuming type of a deal here. You don't want to rush yourself. You want to get that thing just right, and so just definitely schedule some time to make this right, so you don't rush it and fudge it up. So get the one done there, and we're going to do the other part of the hood stripes. Soak them in our warm water there, like I said, for another 10 to 15 seconds or so. It doesn't take long, and that that backing should slide right on off there. And we're going to have to finagle these stripes in place and try to get it centered up, and eyeball the distance between stripes, and get this thing looking about as best as we can. So hope you guys are enjoying another restoration here. These are fun. Really enjoy getting these old nasty played with cars and basically turning them around and making them look brand new. It's really fun. So appreciate you guys tuning in to another Orange Trek Outlaws show here. And if you guys like what you see, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. If you guys have any suggestions, what you want to see, certain car, certain paint scheme, whatever, I'm open to whatever. I got lots of ideas, but always open to try something new, that's for sure. Like seeing the comments, try to respond to as many of them as I can. So like I said, putting these tampos on, bit of a tedious job, but it's definitely well worth it in the end. Make sure everything looks perfect, get all that water out of there, and you should have it looking pretty good. So got the hood on, everything's looking cool here. There's not much left here but the hood stripe, and then there's one little trunk stripe. Luckily this one's a nice big old basically rectangle, and Should go on pretty easy. One problem I did have with this guy was, getting them to curve around the, the windshield and that rear window. Getting them to flatten out and set right. That definitely is going to take a little time and a little effort, trying to get one side to set right, and you end up moving the other side, and then you get that side set right, and then you move the other side, and it's really kind of a back and forth thing until you get that one side to stick and get that water out of there. You can see I'm screwing it up a handful of times and getting it to move around, but it will eventually get where you want it to be. It will flatten out around those window edges. You just got to stay with it. Keep trying to squeegee that water out and keep trying to flatten it out with your Q-tip. If you have to, hold one side with your finger. It'll go. It'll go eventually. Just keep at it and try not to get frustrated with it, which it can be extremely frustrating, especially when you think you got it and you don't. But just keep at it. Like I said, it takes time, so you just gotta have some patience. So here we are, last tampo here for the trunk. This should be another fairly easy one. There's not a lot of lip, I guess, involved here like there was on the roof. So we're going to get this thing centered up with the other stripes. We'll get her flattened out and try to get all the air bubbles out, and try to dab all that extra water out. And we'll let this sit overnight, let it dry up, and then we'll come back and we'll hit it with another, probably at least another coat or two of some clear coat, and get those tampos locked in there. And then we'll be just about ready to put this bad boy back together. So just about got her set. I think it's about where we're gonna want it, as long as I can get the water out and not budge it again. We should be good. But I think this car is looking really cool. I really like the white over the yellow. So here we are, got everything cleared up. We got our chassis all polished up. We got our new Redline wheel caps put on there, so that's looking good. We did hit the tail lights there with the Sharpie pen. The interior cleaned up just fine, soap and water, a little super clean. And here's a look at our windshield. What a huge difference. So there was marker on the front and back of that thing. So we got it all off with the super clean, and then we sanded it with some 1500 grit and then some 2000 grit. Then we polished it, and then we put it in the floor polish, and it looks brand spanking new. So the body's looking good. It's all clear coated out. It's looking shiny. So we're about to get this bad boy back together, and we'll get her on the turntable here in a minute after we get our screws in here, and we'll give you a quick before and after. And this is a pretty dramatic change, I think, for this car. Like I said, it looked like it had a lot of fun. Somebody had a lot of fun with it, but this thing looks as it should when it was brand new, and it's looking sweet. Real happy with the way this turned out. In the event I come across another one of these stockers, maybe I'll break down and do the orange body next time. But I just liked how this white one looked with the red and the blue stripes on the top. So this thing's looking sick. Loving it. Really loving it. It turned out better than good. So we're gonna get the reveal going here, but first we're gonna take a quick look here what we started with. This is our Mustang Stalker Redline. As you can see, it is played with and beat up, and I think somebody took a black marker to it, pretty much coated the whole thing. And a lot of it's worn off, but it's all over the windshield, and it's all over the rear, it's all over the body, but all that come off real good. We've got new wheels, polished up. And here is a look at what we finished with, guys. This is our Mustang Stalker. We got the fresh paint job. We started with the opaque white, and then we added a little bit of pearl white just to give it a little pop on it. We put new tampos on that guy. We polished the base up, added some details for the tail lights. Put new Redline cap wheels on there. Cleaned up the interior, and basically had to do a complete restoration on that windshield, front and back, and all inside and out, and it turned out awesome. So like I said earlier, thank you guys for watching another one of my restorations. Had a great time doing this one. It's definitely going to go in the collection box, and hopefully we'll be able to appreciate it for a while. So thanks again. Check out my other restorations. Check out them customs. Check out them racing. If you guys are into racing Hot Wheels and want to find out what the fastest are, I got a lot of races going on. I got some fast cars. I got a lot of fast cars left still to race. So check all that stuff out, and appreciate it. And I will see you guys on the next build. See ya.